Welcome to NetMusicShow.com.
Behind every great producer is a great engineer, such is the case with Joe McGrath. He's part of what I like to call the dream team of modern record production. Along with Jerry Finn, he's helped create important records for Blink-182, Sum 41, Alkaline Trio, and Morrissey, and those are just to name a few. He's also engineered for other artists like Ryan Adams, Nancy Sinatra, and B.B. King. Joe, who or what got you interested in recording music in the first place?
I would say it's probably when I was a kid, listening to Beatle records with headphones on. That was probably the start of it all.
And who are some of the guys that you looked up to?
Well, you know, when you were that age, you listened, and then you looked at the liner notes, and you know, you saw Eddie Kramer's name quite a bit, just to name, you know. Didn't really have to look up to anybody, any producer or engineer, but I was just so into music at the time. I think that's how I gravitated towards recording.
Who was it that gave you your first big break?
John Porter, who was a fabulous guy. He was an Englishman, and he was in Roxy Music for a spell, and he produced the first Smith record. He produced How Soon Is Now. And he was doing blues records, and he came to do a Buddy Guy session at the studio where I was working in Burbank, and we just hit it off. And next time he had a project, he called me. So that's how it started.
Joe, what does it feel like to be involved in albums that are not only in the top of the charts, but have gone gold like Green Day's international super hits, double platinum like Blink-182's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, to winning Grammy Awards like the B.B. King and Taj Mahal records you did?
Well, certainly, you know, you feel proud of the accomplishment. I mean, as far as sales go, you know, I had a pretty good idea that Blink and Green Day were going to sell pretty well, but normally you don't really think about it that much in a project. And then, of course, you never think you're going to win a Grammy Award, or the record's going to win a Grammy Award. That's just down to, you know, I guess how people react to the music. But of course, it doesn't hurt to have a big name like B.B. King on the album. So anyhow, it feels great. It feels great to be a part of that sort of thing.
For more than 10 years of your career, you predominantly recorded blues records. So how did you go from legends B.B. King and Buddy Guy to Blink-182 and AFI with almost no rock background?
Well, I wouldn't say that I had no rock background. I mean, I did lots of different things, you know, before I kind of moved to LA, or before I don't know if you want to call it well-known or whatever. So I was pretty well-versed in all just recording, and really recording music is recording music. It doesn't matter if it's a Marshall or a Stack or a Fender Twin with country twang. But the way I transitioned to it is that Jerry Finn and I were friends for years. We sort of started at the same time, and he was looking for someone to work with, and he called me, and that's how it went. So it was pretty simple.
Are there any funny moments you can recall from recording Blink's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket?
You know, I can't recall one, but you know, Mark and Tom were just very funny guys together. There was always a lot of one-liners and quips, and you had to be on your toes. They were quick wits, so you had to watch out. You had to watch yourself.
Did it really only take Travis Barker 2 days to record his drums for that album?
Yes, in fact, it did. I mean, we took about a day to get sounds, and then the next 2 days he just played it. So that is in fact a true story.
What's the secret to Mark Hoppus's twangy bass sound?
Well, I know on the record that I did, we had an SVT 8x10, and then we also had an SVT a 15-inch, cabinet with a 15-inch speaker in it. So it was a blend of those. And then it's also in the way he plays too. For
most of the Boxcar Racer album, you recorded different sounding drum kits set up for different parts of the same song. What was that experience like?
That was a lot of fun for me because, Tom and Travis said, just do whatever you want. We had free reign to make whatever kind of sounds we wanted. We weren't constrained by any of the Blink things, and the idea was to do something different from Blink. So it was a lot of fun. We set up one sort of standard rock, drum kit. Then we have a funky little kit in the corner, and a lot of times that was just one or two mics to get some of those things that sound like loops that you hear on that record. So yeah, it was fun. It was a chance to be creative without any kind of pressure.
How did you hook up with Alkaline Trio to produce and record Good Morning for them?
That came about because they were looking for Jerry Finn to produce that record, and Jerry and I were still working on AFI Singing Sorrow, and Jerry was going to mix it, so he was going to be doing that for about a month or so, and I was available. We talked to the band, and presented me as a producer, and they were receptive to it, so that worked. And then Jerry mixed that record. He also has a co-production on that record as well, so it was a family affair.
What exactly happened to Matt Skiba's voice during those sessions?
He had a problem with his throat. He had some acid reflux problems, and so he had a lot of inflammation in his throat, and so he was only able to sing, maybe a verse at a time, and then we'd have to rest for quite a long time. So it was hard work to get the vocals done. It took a long time. I felt bad for Matt because he's got such a great voice, and he was frustrated that he couldn't just do it. So it was a medical thing, but we got through it.
Do you have a favorite studio you like to work in?
Yeah, I think my favorite is Conway Studios in LA. That's got my favorite drum room, and plus it has windows, so you can see outside, which I always like to have a bit of sunshine come in the rooms.
Do you have a favorite set of monitors?
Yeah, I have a pair of their Tannoy gold monitors, 10-inch gold monitors with Mantley crossovers, and I've really come to like those a lot.
What's one of your favorite projects you've worked on, and why?
I was thinking about this, and it's kind of hard to say one or the other. I mean, I used to really enjoy the blues records because you got all the musicians in there, and everybody played, and really the record was done when the song was over, for the most part, except for some mixing. So they were always fun to be around, have all the musicians around. But each project has its own, fun moments, and some not fun. But so it's hard to pick one over all the others.
If you could be part of any album in the history of music, whose album would it be?
Wow. Now, that's an interesting question. If I had to pick one, I would probably say Dark Side of the Moon.
With the news of major recording studios shutting down all across the country, like the Hit Factory in New York, for example, do you think that 10 years from now, studios won't exist due to the increasing affordability of home recording gear?
No, I think, there's always going to be a place for the bigger studio, the bigger rooms, just because for cutting drums more than anything. And I don't know, in 10 years' time, I don't think it'll be drastically different. I think it's still going to be, if you have the budget, you go to the big studio, and if you don't, you maybe cut your drums at the big studio, and then, go to the home studio or the smaller setup to do your overdubs.
What are some of the common mistakes you hear in home recordings today?
Usually it's over-processing or over-EQing or over-compressing. I'd say those are the
you recently
common
wrapped
mistakes.
up or are about to start that you're really excited about?
Yeah, I just got a chance to work with Butch Vig on a group called Against Him, and I helped them out with some of the tracking, and now they're going to go ahead and overdub and finish it. And right now I'm producing some demos for a group called Tourmaline here in New Jersey.
How do labels and artists usually approach you to work on their album?
Many times it's they're approaching Jerry, and Jerry just calls me, or sometimes I'll get a call directly from an A&R guy, or like as the case with this project I'm working on right now, they just found me on the internet, and so that's how that worked. I am approachable, let's put it that way.
Let's say there was an artist that you really admired and wanted to work with. How would you go about contacting them?
Well, either I just ask around who knows them. Maybe somebody knows their manager, and somebody always knows somebody eventually, and that's how I would try to do that.
Joe, thanks for the opportunity to talk with you today.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to netmusicshow.com. Are you a big fan of Kevin Smith's son since you're from New Jersey?
Oh, who's that?